It's stressing me, keeping me in the streets. Money.
You for joining me and the Old Grumpy Prosperity team for this week's episode of Grow Your Mind and Money. Tonight, we are interviewing Teresa Maron, the how-to queen and podcast guru. Now, Teresa is creative director for content marketing strategy out of Houston and radio network host at podcastingbyprofessionals.com. Teresa has experienced the other side of the mountain, the valley, and the mountaintop, and has used those challenges to empower people in all walks of life in transforming what stops them into a source of power that has people exceed all expectations. Yes, Teresa is a champion for humanity. And as you guessed, it is time for a little spoken word to kick off our show with none other than Shawnee, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry. And she is in the house.
Thank you so much, Quiet Storm. Hey, it's Shawnee the poet, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry. And as always, we have something special for you. But before we get started with that piece, I want to shout out to all my thick girls, poetically thick girls. July the 18th, we are having an awesome plus-size fashion show, Glamour, Glitz, and Curves, where I will be performing live. And, you know, if you can step into the house, we still have a handful of tickets still available. So check out ShawneeThePoet.com for you to purchase your tickets. Now, it is definitely time for a little spoken word from none other than myself, Poetically Thick, DJ. That mic is hot.
Poetically thick. 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 Yes, I said thick. THICK, thick. You don't have to be afraid of my greatness, but some of you are. I know who I am. I am poetically thick. Yes, abundant, so born rich. Thickness, so get over it. I have. Your words have echoed in my ears for years. You are pretty for a big girl. Oh, your face is so pretty. Well, thanks for the complimenting insults, but I'm about to give it to you raw, so pause for effect. The truth is, I'm sick of it. Size doesn't make you beautiful, nor does it make you easy. E. Marie says some of you got that plus-size porno mentality, secretly wanting a woman with meat, like we don't have standards. How dare you? Allow me to enlighten you. Your opinions don't matter anyway. Society has called us overweight, big, and fat. Well, get your life right and get a hint. My girl D said fashionable and thick. Changing the way that fat is being used. Baby, we thick. And this is a movement, removing issues of low self-esteem, empowering her, you, and me with knowledge of self, self-empowerment, self-awareness, self-worth, and self-love. I heard them say, you can dress for a big girl. Sweetie, I can dress regardless of my size, because in all fairness, I got my own style. Baby, I'm poetically thick. And yes, this plus-size woman loves her curves. These curves are a movement and a force to be reckoned with. And I have curves for weeks, making you weak in the knees with all this sexy. And these beautiful childbearing hips and thick thighs sometimes tend to be wide, so slide over and make room. My thickness is coming through. Strutting this way with much attitude, and I ain't trying to be rude, but my attitude reflects leadership, so I lead by example. So I'm ahead, and I know it's our time. So can you say winning? Baby, I am resilient. I know who I am, and I'm thick. Yes, poetically thick. fashionable and thick, and yes, I'm rocking my confidence with my curves. Beautiful and wonderfully made. So I dare to shine, and I dare to make a difference, and I dare to be different. So what? I am a BBW, a bold, beautiful woman. I said I am a BBW, a brave, brilliant woman, and I am thick. And they broke the mold when they made thick. Her thick, your thick, and my thick, because our curves are the shit. So please don't get it twisted. They say that girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice, but we are women, and some of us are made of so much more. Yes, thick, made praline sweet, cayenne spicy, sassy, and sultry. Can you say fierce and on fire? Yep, burning brightly. They noticed. So did you. So I refuse to dim my light or move so you can shine. I refuse to back down or take a seat simply because you're not comfortable with me. Some of you can't get past the bus or the bus size to know what's inside because I'm plus size. Baby, I'm poetically thick, fashionable and thick. This beautiful mind is full of wisdom and knowledge, and I'm deep and classy. So I refuse to be sensitive about the color of my skin, the texture of my hair, or my size, my plus size, because I love all of me. My stomach, my love handles, my stretch marks, and my dimples. And yes, it really is just that simple. I love me some me. So these issues that you have ain't my baggage to carry. So you need to hear me clearly. I love me some me. I know who I am created to be. I know who I am. And I won't apologize for loving the skin that I'm in. I won't apologize for being me. Or for rocking my sexy. Baby, I am royalty. And I'm thick. Fashionable and thick. Thick and curvy. And yes, I have power in my walk, strength in my talk. Lord, I got it going on. I'm poetically thick, and I am absolutely beautiful.
Snap, snap, snap. Well, if you didn't know,
snap,
now
toe
you
tap.
know.
Snap.
What's happened?
Well,
Yeah.
Steve,
Thank you.
most welcome.
Thank you.
Well, before we continue,
I
Shani, did you want to put something on it?
I did. I just wanted to say, we had a few listeners tag in about that, and their focus was health issues. But that piece is about self-empowerment and self-love. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that telling you not to be healthy, not to take care of yourself. It's about telling yourself that it's okay to love you no matter what size you are because you're beautiful inside and out. And size doesn't make a difference. Color does not make a difference. The texture of your hair does not make a difference. You are still absolutely beautiful. So know that, accept that, receive that. And before we continue, it is time to see what Money Making Thoughts Darnell has for us today live.
Thank you, Shani. You got to love the thickness. Earning it. Is there something you want in life and yet you never put forth any effort to make it happen? You probably don't want it. If you borrow someone else's goal and fail to reach that goal, you haven't really failed. You've given yourself the opportunity to reevaluate your choices and your direction. When you don't really have the desire to do the work, then you don't really have the desire to reach the goal. Because the value of the reward is created by you in the process of earning it. What things can you get excited about working toward? These are the things that will bring you true fulfillment in your life. What do you consider to be worth your time, effort, and resources? What would you willingly make sacrifices and endure difficulties to create? How do you know what's really, truly important to you. It is whatever you are willing to earn. What I've learned about myself and growing my mind when it comes to the thing, earning it, and the action I will take is I will be courageous in earning those things that bring me fulfillment. I will use my courage to endure through the sacrifices I must make to know what is important to me to reach the end result I have for myself in growing my mind and money on the road to prosperity. I will see you later on in the show, but right now it's time for our special interview with Teresa Maron. Over to you, Ronnie D.
Thank you, Voice of Reason. What would you willingly make sacrifices and endure difficulties to create? You know, that's a question business owners should ask any prospective new employee. That is a good question. But we're going to move along. In this part of the show, we will learn about a challenge our guest, Teresa Maron, faced in having her dreams fulfilled, a challenge that knocked the wind out of her sails. Somehow, some way, she kept going and used that challenge to give her strength that has made her successful in every area she chooses to focus her time and energy. Thank you, Teresa, for being on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. It is my pleasure, and I wanted to say how much I enjoyed the poem and also the Voice of Reason. That was really a really inspiring way to start the show.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Well, Teresa, we're going to learn a little bit more about you, and what we're asking in this part of the show is for you to please share an incident or time in your life that knocked the wind out of your sails when the going got even rougher and you felt like you were lost. Please be as specific as possible so we can truly appreciate what you were experiencing.
Well, thank you for asking. And I just want to share with the listeners that, you know, as you grow older, I'll be hitting my 60th year this year. And you can look back on life and you can see a lot of things that, you know, really were high drama. But, you know, I just have to say, a lot of the times that I was in a high conflict, something like, should I get a divorce? Or, you know, a problem with my child, or changing jobs and becoming a self-employed person. I mean, these are all high points. And, of course, you know, sprinkle in there, we all have health challenges, all right, where there's times when we wake up in the morning and we know that, you know, something might not be right. But these are big milestones in life. Huge challenges, yes. But a lot of times, the biggest decisions that we make are very subtle. A lot of times, decisions that we make are decisions that we did not really fully address. So what I wanted to share with the listeners is that the biggest challenge that I've had in my 60 years of being self-employed, most of them, raising a child, having health issues in my family and myself, have been learning to recognize that the big decisions sometimes are the easy ones to make. And those smaller ones that kind of come up, you know, where you just, for example, if I had bought a certain...
Teresa, how about we do this instead of, could you kind of tell us one of those incidents?
Yeah. For example, when I was considering buying a certain house, and it just didn't feel right, and I didn't buy it, so I ended up renting for a little bit longer, and I realized that if I had bought that house, my child would have gone to a whole different school system, and you know, that probably wouldn't have been the right place for her. You know, I was really down on myself because I felt like I had let everyone down by not being a homeowner at that time. And what really happened was my daughter made a lot of friends for life that she never would have met. So it really was the right decision. It was a decision that I
okay,
made.
can I just interrupt a little bit? And because I can kind of get that, but was there an incident that really just knocked the wind out of your sails, where you even look back today and you go, God, how did I get past that?
Well, there's just so many.
We kind of want to get an audience. We kind of want to get a listeners like just a piece of you where it was that moment where it was like, wow, I was going through this, and it knocked the wind out of my sails. Now we know you made it because you're still here, and for your beautiful 60. And but where if you can just step back for a second and just kind of pick out an incident.
All right, I'll do that for you. There was a time, all right, when I moved to Houston, Texas, and that was a little over 20 years ago. And my goal, I was really bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like you were saying earlier, and I was full of fire, and I was going to start my own dance studio because my background, of course, is ballroom dancing. And I moved to Houston to start my own dance studio, and I got a job in a really big studio here at Bunker Hill and I-10. And it was just a horrible job. I mean,
oh God, it was just a horrible job.
It was a horrible job. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on, a lot of national champion dancers there, but I mean, it was a grind. It was like a 12-hour-a-day grind, and I had a 6-year-old, and it was just a grind. And all I could think of is, I just want to start my own business. I just want to start my own business. And I got fired from that job, and I just thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to start my own business. And I taught my way into a 5-year lease at a really great place, and they gave me a build out, and I taught my way into it, and I sold myself. And I did all the things that all these motivational salespeople tell you to do. Believe in yourself. Go in there, talk about it. And I did. And about 3 months into it, I went, fill in the blank with some expletive. I'm not gonna be unladylike enough to put the expletive in, but pick a good one. Because about 3 months in, I just went, heck fire, because the skill set that it took to run the studio and the skill set that it took to be an employee in the studio was really different, and I hadn't.
It was really different.
Effort. I hadn't even put the effort into figuring out what it took to run a dance studio. I just put the effort into how to get out of the job I was in. So if that's the kind of thing, that was a huge wake-up call. And, I mean, I got myself in a whole lot of 14-hour day trouble. And 5 years later, I had pretty much put myself through the equivalent of a business degree, but it was not, it was a school of hard knocks.
That's the laugh of recognition. You know that, right?
Right. When you wake up in the morning,
I just want to let you know my laugh is the laugh of recognition.
So for all of you people out there who are thinking, I hate my job, I just want to have my own business. Hello.
Yeah.
I wish I had that job now.
Well, during that time that you were, dealing with the new business and striking out here in Houston, did you find yourself blaming other people, your circumstances, or just even yourself?
Well, clearly there was no one to blame but myself. That would have been great to have someone to blame. That would have been a real. It would have been a joy, but of course it was my own fault. And only because I was great in sales was I even able to get myself in that position.
Oh, God.
I mean, I convinced everyone I could do it, and then I realized, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
Oh God.
So
early on, you weren't blaming anybody. You were just, hey, I did this one.
Oh yeah. And I ran a dance studio in Houston, Texas for about 20 years. I just sold my third studio about 2 years ago. And right now, people that I have trained in my studios are running 6 dance studios in Houston right now. Wow. And that was when I decided to segue into online marketing and start the podcast.
Let's just kind of go back to the time that you were having all that fun failing.
Are
Now,
you sure you want to do?
yeah, we want to go back to that time. Like I said, we know already you made it because you wouldn't be on this
Oh
program.
my goodness! I have some problems now. Can't we talk about my? Okay.
No, we want to. We'll get to the Empress will talk about your today problems. I get to talk about the
Okay.
past problems. Now, when you were in the morass of the, of getting in over your head, opening up a business without, really knowing what it was and, kind of kicking yourself in the pants for a little bit because knowing how it is as an employee versus actually owning it is different. What would you say was the point where, because there was a point where you stopped blaming you and it just started being okay? When would you say that you saw that, you saw the light of hope and possibility, and what did you take to kind of start going in the positive direction?
Well, I guess I started realizing that I was enjoying the learning process, and I was also learning so much about business ownership and marketing and advertising and people skills and how to close sales. And I was meeting a whole different group of people because when I was an employee, I only met clients of the business. But when I became a business owner, it was peer-to-peer, and business-to-business relationships that I started developing. And I started really becoming the beginning of the person that I am now, which is someone who can command a room, someone who can be a public speaker, someone who can, speak peer-to-peer, business-to-business. And I didn't really realize, that was not my goal to start the business. But once I got into it enough to where I was learning enough business skills and started realizing it was a whole different type of power, not power in the way that I could, but personal power, confident power. And I was no longer like, the lovely lady was talking about in the poem. I was no longer, because in the dance studio, it's all about your figure. You have to be in perfect shape. It was no longer about my physical ability to stay in shape. It was more about my mental ability to keep up. And I really liked that. That started to grow me in a different direction because, of course, I've been a dancer since I was 14, and you are a slave to the mirror.
Oh, God. I feel you on that one. But I just really want to just kind of emphasize something you said, which was that there was a point where you actually started liking the work that it takes to be a business owner.
Yeah, I liked the creativity behind, coming up with the right advertising copy. I liked developing the website. I liked knowing that when people walked in the door, I say, how did you hear about me? And, I start to kind of realize that this is working, this is not working. I became a marketer at that time. And, that's hugely creative if you let it be.
Yeah, I can get that if you let it be. So wow, that was awesome. So you went from over your head, and this is the wrong choice to wow, I might actually like this stuff, and it challenged you in a different way, and it just opened up possibility. Well,
that's right.
Wow, well that is awesome. Well, Teresa, what we're going to ask you to do is now we want you to share some words of wisdom with our listeners based on the theme, and this is so perfect, earning it when it comes to building wealth and prosperity. What words of wisdom will you share with our listeners?
Well, when you say earning it, the first thing that comes to mind is that a lot of people think that in order to get what they want and in order to have the life of their dreams and to have the money in the bank and to be able to support their family and live up to their obligations, it's really hard. And they have to work really hard and they have to earn the right to be successful. And what I'd like to share with the listeners is that you already have that right. And sometimes the path of least resistance is the right one. Sometimes we make it too hard. So I encourage people to look at, like, when I got myself in that business, I was making it too hard because I was trying to do too many jobs. And if I had just focused on the one thing that was really important at that point, which was to support my staff, all right, when I started learning to support my staff, then I started to only do one job, and that's when I became successful. That's an analogy. Of course, not everyone is in the same type of business, but don't make it complicated.
Yeah. Hey, we have complicated minds, make simple things way too hard. And what you have been sharing has been a blessing. And, you know, I'm really mood-touched and inspired by your genuine liveliness. There's a certain aura of liveliness you have. And what I see for myself is keep the spirit and energy going. Now, we'll hear more from Teresa later in the show, but right now it's time for one of my favorite spirited people, a prosperous spirit with Miss Cookie.
Thank you, Ronnie B. Tonight we are talking about sacred love. I'm blessed by sacred relationships. From the day I was born, I have given and received love in sacred relationships. My parents cared for me with tenderness, and I responded with smiles. Now I see my loved one through the eyes of God and generously return their affection. I find joy in the deep love we share. I commit to maintaining healthy and happy relationships. I am present for special occasions. I listen attentively and accept my loved ones as they are. I release any perceived differences to the guidance of spirit. My beloved and I grow as we support and encourage each other. I thank God for the unique bond in which I share my sacred qualities. Nakia, take us to pray.
Stay tuned for The Kitchen with Miss Cookie and Quiet Storm, featuring music from Black, Merda, and ALLi on the Korner.
Another day, another restless night, crying myself to sleep. Another day of relentless phone calls from credit card companies demanding payment. Another day wondering if filing bankruptcy or getting one of those debt consolidation loans is the only way to go. A friend said, stop crying. Call Sharon, the debt destroyer. Sharon and her team of experts work hard to help you eliminate your credit card debt and get you and your credit back on track. No bankruptcy? No loans? Your credit card debt eliminated? I called Sharon, and her team of experts went right to work with a plan that made sense. I am sleeping peacefully, knowing my credit card debt is being destroyed and my credit is getting back on track. Have your credit card debt destroyed and get a good night's sleep. Contact Sharon, the debt destroyer, at yourdebtdestroyed.com or call 888-431-2829, extension 2.
We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Okay, something smells great. I think it's a dish Miss Cookie has been whipping up in the kitchen. Miss Cookie?
Thank you, Darnell. Welcome to the kitchen. We have a great recipe to feed those hearty appetites that have been working diligently on growing their minds and money. Tonight we have steak de Burgo. It is a beef tenderloin in basil butter and garlic sauce topped with mushrooms. It's cheap, simple, yet incredibly delicious. Get those pens and paper handy. Your prep time is 30 minutes. Your cook time is 10 to 16 minutes. And this recipe serves 4 people. Ingredients. You will need 1 package of McCormick grill-made Montreal steak marinade. Or you can use your own if you have a delicious marinade that you like to use. 1 cup of butter softened. 4 teaspoons of snipped fresh basil, or you can substitute with crushed basil. You will need 4 to 6 ounce beef tenderloin steaks or ribeye chuck steak, 4 teaspoons of minced garlic, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, salt, freshly ground black pepper, or you can use McCormick ground black pepper. You will need 1 8-ounce container of sour cream, 3 cups fresh mushrooms sliced about 6 ounces, 4 medium to large potatoes. Ready for your preparation? Prepare your grill made to package direction. Double the red wine. It gives you a more rustic flavor. Marinate overnight or longer. Number 2, remove steak from the refrigerator 2 to 3 hours prior to cooking. Number 3, in a small bowl, combine 4 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of basil and set it aside. Number 4, bake your potatoes. Number 5, sprinkle your steaks with salt and pepper. Number 6, in a large skillet, add olive oil and stir in garlic, cook in hot olive oil. Add 1 tablespoon of butter over medium heat. Cook it 4 to 6 minutes or until just brown. With a slotted spoon, remove the garlic from the skillet. Increase heat to medium-high. Add the remaining 1 tablespoon of basil. Cook the steaks in the skillet, turning once. Allow 10 to 13 minutes for medium rare. That's at 145 degrees. To medium, 160 degrees for doneness. Transfer to serving plate. Top each with butter basil mixture. Add mushroom to skillet. Cook and stir until tender and brown, about 4 to 5 minutes. Spoon mushrooms over your steak. It is time to serve your dinner. Eat and enjoy. It is time for the Korner with Quiet Storm. Let's give her a smooch and a rose.
Thank you so much, Miss Cookie, for that delicious delicacy.
Thank you, thank you.
No dessert required.
No.
Well, tonight, yes, we are featuring music from Black Merda out of Detroit with their album, Before That Day. Now, as you know, we do ask our team to vote whether the tracks we play should get a smooch and a rose or if they really need more fertilizing. And tonight we start with our first track. This one is titled, Well, I'm Crazy About You. Let's check it out.
girl, you must be the one. You're the one. There's no one else like you. I can't understand why I love you like I do. Crazy about you. That's what it is. That's what it is, girl. Crazy about you. That's how I feel, girl. You say you feel the same way I do. I pray every day. The words you say are true. Is it true that time will always tell what God has joined together? I know we'll never fail. Crazy about you. That's what it is. That's what it is, girl. Crazy about you. That's how I feel, girl. Ooh, you brought a sweet melody. It takes two to make harmony. Take my name. That means everything. You already told me you feel the same. I'm not ashamed to love you like I do. I wanna tell the whole world I love you. Crazy about you. That's what it is. That's what it is, girl. Crazy about you. That's how I feel. That's how I feel, girl. Let the world know that I love you. You just mean everything to me. Let's show the world how love should be. I'm crazy, I'm crazy, I'm crazy about you.
Let's go right to our panelists and find out what they thought about that track. First up on our list is the Empress, Nakia herself. Nakia, what do you think
I
about
just
that?
say you must love me, Quite. Because you always pick me at the worst time.
Okay.
Woo! Wow. All I have to say is that was the most, and Lord forgive me, boring, annoying, just so drug out. It was like no no motivation, no. I'm like, okay, but just tell me you love me and be done. Don't drag it out, because now you're making me literally go crazy. I'm getting gray hairs, and, you're just stressing me out. And I couldn't listen to that song 100 times over, let's knowing once more. And I apologize for being so direct, but it gave me absolutely nothing. Just tell me that you love me and move on. Now, don't sing. So I need to give that a whole lot of fertilizer. I'm sorry, I digress.
Sounds like you were ready to be.
Sorry, I digress.
And we heard you loud and clear and never apologize about being direct. Yes, Lady Nakia told us to roll out the fertilizer truck this hour. And she even mentioned the word annoyed. Yep. Segueing right over to Miss Cookie. Miss Cookie, did this do anything for you at all?
Gave me a headache, and I just about 5 loads of fertilizer. Just put it out of its misery.
Yes. Yes.
I can definitely hear that.
Yes.
Voice of reason.
Wow. We're gonna keep the trucks moving. Beep, 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 and dumping at the same time. Fertilizing it. It was just painful. Don't love me like that. Don't love me like that.
Well, it's almost unanimous. Let's go to our guest, Teresa. Teresa.
Yeah, it's like just because they don't have a hook, they don't have any lyrics, there's not any dynamic, because there doesn't seem to be any really strong musical background or any training to the musical instruments that they played. I don't know why all y'all are just so down on these people. I mean, not everybody can be, adequate. So let's just go with, I think that song would be the perfect song for me to play when I just really need to go to sleep right now. And it's chemical-free, people. I mean, I don't have to take a pill. I don't have to drink a drink. I just put this song on, and I go straight to sleep, and it's done. I loved it. Give it a rose.
It would keep me from going to sleep.
That's been a couple.
Wow. To see if I was dead.
So you can't go to sleep on that one? Well, Teresa gave it a rose amidst all that fertilizer. What else could she do? And Ronnie B, what did you think of that one?
Crazy About You. And I like Crazy About You. Coming from a hip place, the old 70s funk groove thing, I rather like. I thought it was nice, smooth, and mellow, and I could have had me a little cocktail and sit back and move into my creative groove. So I'm giving it a smooch and a rosy.
A smooch
now
and
we're gonna see what the princess got to say.
Was he in your stash?
Oh, wow. Well, that was your cue, Sonny. We must hear from the Sunshine Princess of Poetry on this one.
I can't believe they came out of Detroit. I can't believe that they came out of Detroit. That's first of all. But there were certain aspects of that no, with Teresa, with everything she said except for the smooch and the rose. I'm gonna have to get in line, and back up a whole lot of fertilizer.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words for that. I'm just. They came out of Detroit, y'all.
That's what he said. In fact, there were some things really disjointed. The name, Black Merda, not quite sure where you're going with that. It has nothing to do whatsoever with the vibe given with this tune.
Ronnie, Ronnie, have you been over there in the cabinet again? That's all I want to know, because the cabinet like it really
apparently.
Because you are really, you normally be on it. I don't know what's going on with you tonight. You didn't want him to be by himself. You didn't want to hurt his feelings. That's what it was. Tell me that's what it was. Lie to me. Lie to me. I know I can't sing, so I don't. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to you, Quiet Storm. I'm done.
Well, we definitely have received your load, and we are dumping it. And, I really like the melody. It definitely kind of struck a late 60s, early 70-ish type of, sound in there. But the gentleman who was singing, I think he should have found someone else, like a real singer. And you don't have to sing everything. You're right. You don't have to. No, you have to go back to the drawing board. We're going to give it lots of fertilizing, lots and lots of fertilizing. Well, if that's not clear, we're going to be moving on to the next artist. Now, our next performer, this is ALLi out of White Plains, Maryland, with a track from her album, Let's Play Pretend. And let's hear it.
Sitting in my window, watching time go by. The months get rough when I remember that you're gone. I need some time to think of what when I need you. We kiss goodbye. Am I just too hard to love? But I don't mind, 'cause I can play pretend. Play with me, babe, let's be kids again. I see you when I close my eyes. I feel you when I dream at night. How have you been, long lost friend? You won't believe how hard I try. I search for you in every crowd I'm in. Every crowd I'm in. So long, goodbye, that was all I had said. It was my only chance to start again. But I don't mind, 'cause I can't play pretend. Play pretend, baby, I can play pretend. Play with me, baby, let's be kids again. said till death. So hold my hand till I forget. Let's play pretend. I don't mind, let's play pretend. I don't mind, let's play pretend. I don't mind, let's play pretend. Hey, with me, let's be kids again. Oh, I don't mind, let's play pretend. I don't mind. Oh, let's play pretend.
Yes, let's go right to our panel and find out what they thought about this track. Let's play pretend. Well, let's have our first panelist tell us what they thought about this one, and let's go with Johnny. Sunshine, press the button.
Me. Okay, I like that one. I like that one. I really like that one. So she got lots of smooches, lots of roses, and everything that the other person was supposed to get but didn't get yet. So she's got double that. I like that. Me. I like that one.
Sounding positive. Okay. Miss Cookie, what did you think of Let's Pray Pretend?
Let her keep on playing pretend and give us some fertilizer.
Strike three already. All right. Well, Miss Cookie said no, not her cup of tea. And we're going to move on to the Empress, Lady Nakia.
I liked that one. That one was more up to date. And I love old school music of all genres. I love it. You know, give me some B.B. King and all of that. I'm all with it. But I like this joint. The young lady has some real stuff to talk about. You know, it's sometimes in life you have to play pretend. You know, whether you've been in relationships for an extended amount of time, 20, 50 years, you still have to know how to date. You still have to know how to entertain each other, get up under each other's, nerves and all of that. But I liked it. It was nice. So I'm going to give it plenty of smooches and roses and throw some in the atmosphere.
Wow, excellent. Okay. Voice of Reason.
I cannot pretend. You know what? We're going to have to compare notes. I think me and Miss Cookie may be related somehow, some way. We are backing her twin truck for that. Why pretend? No, let's not pretend. We would not like that with nothing.
Wow, okay. All right. No pretending. All right. Well, let's see. Let's go to our guest. Teresa, what did you think of that one?
Well, I truthfully think that that girl has a beautiful, well-trained voice, and I think that the song had a lot of attention to production given to it. And what I said before is that there wasn't any discernible training with that previous group, but this girl obviously is classically trained in many, 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 many ways, and she had a huge support staff in production and backup and everything, and I'm really impressed by that. I have to say I didn't really respond to the song on an emotional level, but I still think the girl has a huge career available to her, and I'm going to give her some roses because I think she's a very, very great artist.
All right. Well, more roses for ALLi. And we're going to wrap it up with Ronnie B. Ronnie B.
Hey, with a name like ALLi, you ain't got to pretend. And I'm giving her smooches and roses. The girl can sing. And I think what I really liked about the track was it wasn't, you got to hear her voice and the instruments weren't like heavy drowning it out, or she had to compete with the instruments. So I do like how they put it together. But you know, the girl can sing. I'm giving her the Smooch and Rose.
All right. Well, that was well done, and she does deserve a Smooch and a Rose. I'm going to give her a Smooch and a Rose as well. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Well, if you out there in listening land like what you heard from Black Merda, you can hit them up at Third Child Productions, the number 2 at gmail.com. For Miss ALLi, you can check her out at The Real ALLi. That's ALLi.com. Nakia, take us to break.
All right now. Thank you, Corazon. And let's make sure that was clear. Up next, Shawnee's Sunshine Lounge, my interview with Teresa, and Voices from the Ethers. Please stay tuned.
Oh, how special. Oh, beautiful, just beautiful. Oh, how adorable is that?
Edible Arrangements has a fresh fruit bouquet to make any occasion special. Our bouquets are made with fresh premium fruit, arranged in a variety of stunning displays. Make every occasion special with Edible Arrangements. Guys, the baby's over here.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay, yes.
And don't even think about touching my edible arrangement.
For pickup or delivery nationwide, call 877-DO-FRUIT, 877-DO-FRUIT, or go to ediblearrangement.com. That's ediblearrangement.com. Yeah.
Oh, my. What a nice looking baby you got there.
Make all your special moments. Moments with Edible Arrangements.
We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Now it's time to hit the lounge. Shiny. Whoa. Take it away.
Thank you, Darnell. Hey. Welcome to Shiny Sunshine Lounge, where we feature a mixture of goodies that will stimulate your mind and maybe even having you tapping your feet. Tonight, we have an awesome poet, Rob Hutcherson, performing 2 Fingers, 1 Love, and 1,000 Goodbyes. Hey, DJ, the mic is hot.
Hey, what's up, YouTubers? This is my second post. This is a dedication poem to 2 friends I passed a few years back, Patrick Murphy and Rashad Green, a.k.a. Pat Bougie. This poem is called 2 Fingers, 1 Love, and 1,000 Goodbyes. The title of the poem make a whole lot more sense toward the end. I believe it was 2:03 when I got the call that they had passed. And almost instantly, my heart began to hurt, to see it beating fast. Wake up, Rob. Wake up, Rob. This is just a bad dream. Wake up, Rob. Wake up, Rob. Things aren't how they seem. Wake up, Rob. Wake up, Rob. I was already woke. Didn't want to face the fact that this was real, no prank, no joke. And you see, I was just talking to Bougie just before they headed out the sack. And never once did it cross my mind that 4 of them was leaving, but only 2 was coming back. So you see, I was just talking to Bougie, and I was just happy with that. So for you to tell me that they ain't here no more, I have a hard time dealing with that. Now, those wasn't just football players and friends, and everyone knew it. And for some of us who don't have brothers, those dudes was the closest things to it. Now that they gone, it ain't no replacing them. I remember being at home praying, Lord, please help him, because the devil was taking him. No one answered my cries. So I peered to the skies and tears flooded my eyes, and I asked God, why? Why Pat? Why him? Why Bougie? Why him? Why Eric? Why him? Why Cortez? Why him? God, why them? Now it took Pat 18 years just to be grown. Less than 18 seconds for him to be gone. Now God, I'm not a math major, but in my opinion, that does not add up. These boys are way too young for you to hang their hats up. Barely legal, so much life left in them. And please believe when they left so many lives left with them. Then God replied, my son, do not cry. This is not a bad thing. He tells me that this is not a bad dream. He even cracks a joke and says next year he'll have one heck of a football team. He says, I don't do things to spite you and things to be mean. Everything I do and everything that happens all serves a purpose. And although it might look rough and rugged on the outside, everything is calm beneath the surface. Then he began to question me for questioning him as if to say I was no better. He said, now you tell me why does it take me calling two for my children home to bring hundreds of you together? Then he steps inside to let Pat Bougie talk. I immediately tell him I'm sorry, and he says, shh, don't do it. It is not your fault. They let me know that all is forgiven, and although they are not here, they are forever living. Then God taps his wrist as if to say, no more asking questions, no more asking why. So with my last bit of strength, I stare at Pat Bougie with his eyes, and I tell him, as long as you have friends and fam, you will forever be alive. And if one of you two happens to run into my mom's up there, please tell her I said hi. But until the next time we see y'all on the other side, 2 fingers, 1 love, and 1,000 goodbyes.
Wow. Snap, snap, snap. I'm just going to go ahead and give it up ahead of time. But now that I just got started, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my panel. So panel is Rob Atchison getting snap, snap, so Rotten Tomatoes. Darnell, go ahead and put your 2 cents in again.
We're gonna snap. We're gonna definitely give her some snap. I could feel he had inspiration. He was speaking from a place of definite, enduring something, going through it, having went through it. So yeah, we're giving a snaps.
Thank you very much, Ronnie B.
I'm giving Rob Atchison a snap on 2 fingers.
And Nakia.
Snap, honey. Snap.
Our wonderful guest, Teresa.
Oh, yeah, definitely snap.
And one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world, Quiet Storm.
Oh, thank you. Well, I definitely have to give it snap, because I like the way he definitely used his poetry to work through the emotions he was feeling. And anytime you can pause and pen your experiences, is gotta be cathartic. So I have got to give him a snap. Very positive, even though it was a bit sad.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with that. I remember actually writing the piece about my brother and how emotional I was writing that piece, but how much of an outlet that was to be able to release that somewhere positive, to be able to release it in a positive way, because it's hard. So, again, since I started off, I'm going to finish it again and just say how much of a snap I'm over here snapping for that piece, because it's so powerful. so powerful. So I hope that you enjoyed the performance from Rob Atkinson. You can check him out on oldgrumpyhouston.com or YouTube. And now it is time to continue our wonderful interview with Teresa Maron. Nakia, my love, take it away.
Thank you, Shani. Wow. Miss Teresa. Thank you for your sharing and your willingness to be open and authentic. In this segment.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I was kind of waiting, but that's okay. In this segment, we will learn more about Teresa and some of the challenges she faces in having content marketing strategy and podcasts by professionals.com succeed and exceed all expectations. Teresa, please share the aha moment when you knew in your heart of hearts that creating content marketing strategy and podcast by professionals.com was the right thing for you.
Well, once again, I just have to say that it was a series of decisions. There was not like just one aha moment in life, that sends you towards a direction. But I will share with you that over the years, being a dance studio owner and a professional dancer, I was contacted by a film company, Korner International Films, to create an instructional series of, content. And I wasn't really all that impressed with it. Like now that would be like an unheard of great gift. But when this first happened to me in the late 80s, early 90s, I was at the height of my professional career, and making an instructional for beginners kind of seemed a bit beneath me, if you catch my drift. And, I was just like, okay, well, and I didn't really see that I know, Ron, I know I'm always the last one to get it, but I didn't really, once again, kind of research it. I just kind of went, okay, well, I can do that in my sleep, whatever. I do this all day. And I did it. And fortunately for me, I had, a little bit of success with it, and they gave me a budget to do 2 more. So I had 3 of these instructional videos in place when a little store called Amazon decided that it was going to expand from just selling books to selling videos. I was in perfect position. I was one of the very first video skills on Amazon. Wow. And because I was already hooked up with Korner International Films, they funded another 28 films. And so I became the biggest name in instructional ballroom in the United States. I was on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, it exploded. And that kind of went back to what I was saying in the first segment. Sometimes these little decisions that you don't really think are that important turn into the thing that makes your career. And I actually did a best of last October. I mean, we're talking, I started this in the mid-'80s. Hello, that was not yesterday. I did a best of series for October, and it was a bestseller over the Christmas holidays in 2014. So that was a huge decision that I almost turned down because it didn't really seem to be very high profile.
Wow. Absolutely. I'm sure many of us can definitely relate to that, wanting to have that initial limelight.
I know. And, now that my career is in, I segued into teaching other people, 20 years ago. It's kind of fun. But the aha moment is that all those productions that I was part of and all of the training that I got from Korner International Films, which is known all over the world, gave me the confidence to say, you know what, I could do this for other people. And I can train other people to create content that they can put on Amazon or their website, or they can use to inform their own clientele, or turn it into, like you guys are doing, a podcast.
Okay.
And so I use that training now to help others. And I realized that that was something that I could do to serve others, because a lot of people, you know, they don't know where to start. They've got the talent, they've got the content, they've got the ideas. They don't know where to get started to get it out there, to produce it. So that's the aha moment.
Excellent. Well, Teresa, in going forward in our conversation, you kind of started to go into it, but what circumstances or people challenge you in having your business and the difference you make exceed all expectations? And what are you doing now to overcome those obstacles?
Well, people come to me when they want to add something to their business that could add an income stream. And when they're getting tired of working, you know, by the hour or by the day, and they want to be able to see a little bit of freedom from, I mean, I worked by the hour for years, and there's only so many hours in a day, right?
Absolutely.
So if you can add a couple of income streams to your business, and if you can feel like you're putting your story, your message, and your passion into a digital form or an ebook, something that can be sent out globally instead of just, you know, yourself and the people that you see on a daily basis, it's huge. And many of us, especially you guys on this show, I'm really hearing such a strong message. You know, a podcast is very powerful. And a lot of people will hear your voice that would not have heard. And when I say your voice, I don't mean your beautiful voice. I mean your message.
Absolutely.
And that's what I feel that this show is all about, is the message. But we can inform, we can inspire, we can transform, and we can make a difference to people in ways that we can't do that in any other way with a podcast. So that's what I'm all about.
So, okay.
Did that answer your question?
Hold on.
That would be called a no. That'd be called a no.
Yeah. Because
it'd be called, like, what circumstances or people?
Right, or people. I got what you were saying, but I was trying to I was waiting for the circumstance or the people that challenge you personally in your business that's from making that difference. Because you speak so well, you share so well, so I was waiting, but I didn't hear that part. So if you can share that information with us, a specific circumstance or situation where people challenge you in having your business and the difference you make exceed all expectations. What are you doing to overcome those things? So is there a particular challenge that you have or circumstance or group of individuals?
Well, I think I understand what you're saying. I misunderstood at first. I thought that you wanted me to say what challenges I overcome for my clients. But you're asking me.
We're not there yet.
So what challenges do I have in making a difference in my business?
Correct.
Well, I tell you, my biggest challenge is hours in the day, because I have so many things that I like to do and so many things that are available to all of us right now. There's so many media opportunities. I'm involved in a nonprofit that serves women's empowerment through spirituality and training. And I really, seriously, the challenge I have is to pick and choose wisely where I want to put my energy and making sure that I don't overwhelm my calendar with a lot of things that don't really serve, you know, my spiritual development.
Wow. Okay. So time management is what I got from that.
Time management, and also making sure that I'm always, like tonight, this was, you know, something that came up with a group of people that I wasn't really sure, you know, it's not like I wasn't sure, it's just new. And I made a decision within about 2 minutes of speaking with Ron B. that, you know what, this is worth my time. I'm going to spend this time, and I am totally glad I did.
Absolutely. I know we definitely are glad that you did as well. So, okay, now, would you be willing to share a disappointment that involved working with others that still have you shake your head today? What is that one single situation that occurred that was a true disappointment to you?
Do you want just a general type, or do you want a particular disappointment? Because I don't want to, call anybody out.
Oh, no, you don't have to use names. You can even change names if you want to. But we want to know a particular a moment, that situation where you were trying to help someone do something or however, but even today, because it didn't go as planned. It has you.
Well, you always take a risk when you extend the hand. You always take a risk that it will be accepted in a different way, or that the information or resources that you provide to people, especially when you do it from the heart, and it's not money changing hands. You understand what I'm saying? If money's changing hands, then, there's a whole different energy. But if you do it from your heart, and then someone takes that particular information or resource, let's say you recommend somebody to someone else, and they're a disappointment to that, you recommend someone for a job, or, you refer someone to a client that you really like, and they don't live up to that expectation. I think that's probably the worst, because that's your word. You put your word on another human being, and they don't live up to the expectation.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really careful about that as well.
Absolutely. Putting that reputation on the line. Woo.
That's right.
Absolutely. I'm sure we can all definitely relate to experiences such as that, whether it's us or someone else. So,
right.
Is there a specific moment where your efforts and the memories of the work you and others did still brings a smile to your face? Give us that moment that just still brings you joy to this day.
Oh, well, wow, that's so wonderful. I mean, I remember the first time I won a United States championship, the first time that I saw my daughter smile, and I remember selling my dance studio, and a couple of years ago, and how that was such a win-win. You rarely can sell a business, and my staff got a raise, and my clients were happy, and the person who bought my studio got more than he bargained for. It was so win-win-win.
Wow.
So, there's lots of things. And then when I just got named director of a nonprofit that works out of a downtown Houston church, that just happened a couple of months ago. I mean, there's big moments all the time.
Wow. Well, thank you. I'm sure those were definitely moments that will continue to have you smiling even beyond today. Well, Teresa, I know that you and I can definitely talk forever. But unfortunately, we're going to have to pause for a little moment. And it's time to hear from our listeners. So I thank you so much for sharing with me. But Quiet Storm, what do you hear from the ethers?
Well, this is the part of the show where we listen to feedback from our listening audience, voices from the ethers. And yes, our first voice from the ethers writes, I agree with the panel. The poetry was weak and the music was mediocre. Fortunately, Miss Kristen is a superstar, and her interview with Ronnie B had me really looking at my body and spirit from a powerful perspective. Love the theme about following your own advice. Makes total sense. By the way, you could have played several of Shawnee's poems instead of the music and poetry you played on this week's episode. They sucked. Yes, that's exactly what they said. That was from Florencia Dungo, And Ms. Jungo, we definitely appreciate your sentiments. Keep on listening and letting us know. Much, much appreciated. Our next voice from the ethers. Well, this person writes, God bless you, Kristen. We need more women like you and Nakia doing the work to make a difference. Grow your mind should be grow your heart. Now, that was from our listener, Andrea Takas. Andrea, thank you. I'm sure that Miss Kristen and Miss Nakia definitely appreciate your kind words, and they will keep up the good work. And it looks like our third voice from the ethers is finally coming into view. And the listener writes, I love Kristen and the topic following your advice. Too many times we need to take the advice we give out so freely. I thought the music from Tracy Lynn was very uplifting and spiritual. The panel was mean tonight. That was from Kevin Stokel. Well, Kevin, different strokes for different folks. But we sure are glad you took the time to let us know how you felt about it. And please keep those comments coming. Darnell, take us to break.
Thank you, Quiet Storm. Coming up in the next segment, the finale with Teresa Maron. Food for thought and the prosperity work.
Yeah. Pay someone to give me coaching when what I need is to make more money. Let's get real. You are already making money if you can afford to pay a so-called coach to get you to the next level. Ever hear the old saying, those who can, do. Those who can't, coach. Seems like a whole bunch of so-called life or business coaches do nothing but sell the need for coaching. I was more than skeptical when it came to paying a coach to help me make more money in my business. Margaret Bassant's Elegant Coaching is about fulfilling desires now, not later, which blew me away. Week 1, I am critical, suspicious, skeptical, and disagreeable. Margaret trains us on seeing what is hidden from our view. Week 2, I am beginning to pinpoint the exact actions I take when making the moves critical to growing my business that are keeping it from growing wildly. I am less skeptical, critical, and suspicious. Margaret trains us how to put the past in the past and bring completion to decisions that are impacting our present and future effectiveness. Week 3, my company doubled its sales income and I made a lot more money, a lot more. I want more coaching. Margaret Bassant's Elegant Coaching, fulfilling desires now, not later.
Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money. And baby, you better believe that we do it with love. It is time for the finale. Quiet Storm, over to you.
Well, thank you, Shani. Well, Teresa, I just want to take time here and say that it is a very special treat having you on the show tonight. And I am definitely very pleased for listening to everything that you shared so freely about yourself and your business.
Thank you.
Well, you are welcome. Well, let me just continue by asking, Teresa, what challenges do you see lurking in the waters that will try to slow you down or take you off the path from having your businesses succeed beyond expectations?
Wow. Well, I think my challenges are the same as everyone's challenges. When you decide that you want to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself, once again, you have to make sure that you keep your focus strong, and you have to decide on a couple of things that you really want to accomplish and not get off the path, follow the shiny little rainbow here, or put self-doubt in there and aim too low. You want to go ahead and choose what you really want and never settle for what you don't want.
All right, so not getting sidetracked. Well, that is definitely something to definitely be aware of when you're your own chief bottle washer, so to speak, et cetera, et cetera. Well, please share at least 2 pitfalls that you've seen people fall into when it comes to being consistent in their actions for growing their careers, wealth, health, or well-being.
Well, 2 pitfalls, I think. One is listening skills. When you're dealing with, running a business or even being a very valued employee, one of the most important things you can do is listen. And effective listening means observing what people say, do, and how their actions speak louder than words. You need to listen on more than one level, and you need to respond to people. You need to be engaged with people. You can't just plug and play it. It's not a one-man band ever. And if you're interacting with people on a deeper level and you're really listening to them and you're trying to serve their needs and you're trying to find out what it is that will make them happy, then generally they will return the favor. I think that human nature is that when you feel empowered, you want to empower others. So one pitfall would be to get so caught up in what your own goals are is that you forget to listen and engage with others. And another pitfall is to not have a business plan, a financial, write it down, budget and financial plan. Don't expect that it's just going to work out okay. There needs to be, and if you don't know how to do that, hire someone who can help you do that. You don't build a house without a blueprint. You don't build a business without a budget. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Wow. Well, those are 2 heavy-duty pitfalls, and I see you have learned well from that. Well, also, well, would you please share with us at least one practice that you do use daily to keep yourself in action and focus on the results that you do intend to produce?
Well, sure, I will. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, but, you get caught up. But I absolutely do not start my day. I don't care if I've got 10 texts, 14 emails, and 2 calls I need to return. I do not start my day until I sit down and I visualize exactly what I need to accomplish in my day before I let myself get sidetracked. And some people might call that meditation. Some people might call that your quiet time. What I call that is my time to focus my day. And, if I'm not feeling my best and I sleep a little late, that doesn't change that time. I don't force myself into my day until I feel completely ready. And I find that practice, that me time in the morning, makes all of my interaction with people a little bit more productive. If I take a call, let's say I'm not quite ready to start my day, I take a call. Generally, I have to do the call again. And I also make sure I get, hydrated. I feed my body. I don't jump into my car and head downtown with no food. I take care of myself. So that's very important.
Well, yes, that is. And I keep hearing that from folks when we ask that question. Your own meditation time or quiet time, or for some people, prayer time before you start your day. And as you just mentioned, taking care of yourself, making sure that you are ready to go.
That's right. I mean, God gave us this beautiful body and a beautiful mind and a beautiful soul, but we, in turn, are obligated to care for it. So we can't care for others until we care for ourselves.
Well said. Well, Teresa, what do you have on your plate? And how can our listeners learn more about the projects and activities that you're involved with?
Oh, how kind of you to ask. I would love to interact with the listeners a little bit. Of course, you can visit my website at teresamaron.us and get a little bit of information there. I am the creative director at Bridget's Place, which is bridgetsplace.org, and we are a spiritually based women's empowerment group, a nonprofit that works out of the Christchurch Cathedral, and I'd love to interact with you there. And other than that, there are always opportunities to connect in a greater sense. We can connect on the World Wide Web, but, just keep me in mind, Teresa Maron, and I would love to keep this radio show as part of my circle, my inner circle, because I really think that this group, this empowerment group that you guys, this consciousness group that you have formed is the type of consciousness group that is uplifting all of us on this planet right now. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, Teresa, we want to thank you wholeheartedly once again for being on our show, putting us on your schedule and coming on. We've learned a lot from you. And, again, thank you for being on Grow Your Mind and Money. And please come back and visit us again.
Well, I will. Thank you.
I am wondering right about now what special dish Empress Nakia has whipped up for us on Food for Thought.
Why, thank you, Quiet Storm, and excellent segment. How about earning it? Is there something you want in life, and yet you never put forth any effort to make it happen? You probably don't really want it. If you borrow someone else's goal and fail to reach that goal, you haven't really failed. If you've given yourself the opportunity to reevaluate your choices and your direction, when you don't really have the desire to do the work, then you don't really have the desire to reach the goal. Because the value of the reward is created by you in the process of earning it. What things can you get excited about working toward? Those are the things that will bring true fulfillment to your life. Think about the questions. What do you consider to be worth your time, effort, and resources? We talked about it all throughout the show. What would you willingly make sacrifices for and endure difficulties to create? How do you know what's really, truly important to you? It is whatever you are willing to earn. Wow. Now, an action I see I can take for myself when it comes to the theme earning it is, first, to push the time thieves away and get real with myself. Second, to understand my purpose and my place, getting clarity. And third, break the barrier of excuses and paralyzing fear, false evidence appearing real, which is fear, that has held me captive for so long, confidently walking with boldness into my place in life to fulfill my purpose, yet also putting unyielding faith in God's plan and process, don't forget that, to the vision and to see it manifest itself through commitment, focus, blood, sweat, sacrifice, and tears, ultimately giving to God and myself what I have so easily and eagerly shared and given so freely to the world. So earning it by committing to it, that is my prosperity work. So over to Darnell for the prosperity work.
Thank you, Everest. Cleanse my mind for prosperity. If you feel trapped, as if you are in a vicious cycle, as you do the work to build your prosperity, and no matter what you do, the results are not coming, consider releasing all that is in the way from you receiving your good. The way to release any negativity or stoppage from your good is to use the power of forgiveness, especially if you feel you have no one or nothing to forgive. Forgiveness creates a vacuum for your good to come crushing in. But first, you have to acknowledge there is something you can give up, especially resentments, for that to happen. The work. Create a list of 10 people or things you choose to forgive from the past or present. Next to each name or them, say the following affirmation daily. All that has affected me, I forgive. Within and without, I forgive. I forgive everything and everybody who can possibly need forgiveness of the past, present. I forgive positively everyone. I am free, and they are too. All things are cleared up between us now and forever. Share your list with at least one person daily and invite them to participate in forgiveness. Remember, demand a miracle.
A world of peace and prosperity, one listener at a time. Until next time, grow your mind and your money, because, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.